major and your year in the chat box. That would be fantastic. We can kind of get an idea of who we're talking to and hopefully be able to help you out a little bit better. All right, so thank you for joining us this morning. I'm going to unmute myself. Okay, no problem. So my name is Michelle Pribernow, and I'm one of the career counselors for the university. I specifically work with students in the Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design. So that's my area of specialty, but always happy to help all students. We do have a couple other career development center staff with us here today. I am joined by my moderator, Brittany Straw, as well as Carolyn Chitwood, who I don't have her title entirely memorized, is an assistant director in the Career Development Center, working with career education and career counseling. All right. At any point, if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the meeting chat. I think that'll be the best way to get questions out there. If I miss them, Brittany will make sure to catch those and help answer. I'm sorry, hello?
Is now joining.
Oh, now the computer's talking to me, telling me who's joining. So if you have questions, pop those in at any point, and we'll try to get them all covered. I will try to leave some space at the end as well for questions that you have, but we should take about half an hour here. So again, thanks for joining. Before we dive into the content, I want to take just a moment to acknowledge the current climate. Both the impact of COVID-19 on people's lives around the world is affecting people in so many ways. So we can just take a second to hold compassion for those who are struggling through grief, through loss, through change in different areas of their lives. And I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the current climate and the continued daily injustices perpetrated against people of color.
Is now joining.
Some of which are highly visible at the moment, but are not new. And if you identify as white, as I do, I encourage you to speak up, even if it feels super awkward, and to work to be actively anti-racist. So with that acknowledgement about what's going on in the world today, let's go ahead and dive into our content. I'm going to try to share my screen here with some slides. And let me pull those up. I'm sure you are all very used to online education now and sometimes technical awkwardness. So here we go. Can we see that okay? I can get a head nod. Excellent. All right, so let's cover some alternative resume building, 20 tips in 20 minutes for summer 2020. One question, this is a quote from Mark Cuban recently. One question I guarantee that you will get asked when you go for a job interview in the future is, what did you learn during the pandemic of 2020? And so if you use this time to increase your skill set, you'll be much better suited to find a job, and you will be asked that question guaranteed. So I know a lot of people's plans for the summer have not turned out the way they had hoped for. A lot of study abroad plans, obviously those are all canceled. Internships, many of them have been canceled. I know students who have had offer A, B, and C revoked. Internships may be continuing, but on a limited, very changed basis. Job offers being changed, and just general, a lot more struggle with the job search process. So things are kind of on in this great pause in many ways. But there's still a lot of things that we can be doing, a lot of things to work on through this summer, and some really new things, new opportunities that the change situation has opened up. So we're going to dive into 4 areas and talk about some things you can do. Obviously, nobody is expecting you to do all of these things. Choose what works well for you, what makes sense for your career path, for your major, for your skills, for your interests, and just show so that you can show in the future that things may not have been what you had hoped for this summer, but you did the best you could. You took advantage of the opportunities available, and you worked on improving your skill set and advancing your career prospects. All right, so area number one, network, network, network. This is absolutely something you can do from your computer. There is, and you can stay safe. There's a lot of ways that have opened up in this as well. A lot of professional organizations have decreased or erased for the time being their membership fees for students to join. So for an example, the American Society for Landscape Architectures, ASLA, they offered free membership to students who join in the next couple months, where normally students have to pay every year. So check out the professional organizations for your field. Once you join, you can then explore their online resources. Usually their web pages are really rich with a lot of content. They may have mentorship programs, so you can start connecting with currently practicing professionals in your area, see who's in the
David
mentorship
Lester.
groups, and see what kind of
Is now
activities they
exiting.
get involved with. May not want to be doing any local meetups at the moment, but you can. They may be hosting virtual meetups. They may be have an email list. They may have a Facebook group. So we can start to get to know those people. And if you're a bit of an introvert, a little shy, even easier to do it from behind the screen. Take your time. So if networking is scary, just because you're a little bit shy, this is a great opportunity. There's really no alternative to doing it in person. Attend a virtual, regional, or national conference in your field. Again, a lot of conferences and activities have moved online, which makes them a lot cheaper. They may be free or they may be down to like $50 instead of a $300 registration plus $400 for hotel and food and travel. All that's wiped out. So this might be an opportunity to learn about the cutting edge things that are going on in your field at a way reduced discounted rate. So it takes a little bit of networking, a little bit of exploration to see what those opportunities are for your specific
Motolani
field.
Matthew.
There's a lot out there.
Is now joining.
You can also use LinkedIn to find U of A alumni. So this blue text here is actually a link. So you can go to this now, or you can access this information later. And go to LinkedIn, search for University of Arkansas, click on the alumni tab, and it gives you columns of searches. So you can see who are the U of A alumni who graduated with your degree, who are living in your area or working in a specific specific company you're interested in, and you can sort through, start to find a huge list of people. Reach out to them via email. Not everybody checks their LinkedIn messages, so if you can use this information, you know who this person is, their name, their company, their job title, do a little Google search, find their professional email address, send them a really quick email, 100 words or less, saying, hey, I'm a current student at the University of Arkansas or a recent graduate. I also studied blah, 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 your major. I would love to chat with you for 15, 20 minutes and just learn about your career path, how you started working at this company, what it's like, etc. So you're not necessarily asking anybody for a job or an internship at this point. You're just connecting, learning more about what they're doing. We call this an informational interview. All right, another area to work on is expanding your skill set. So what are some things that maybe you've always been curious about or wanted to increase your skills in, but you really haven't had the time because you've been so busy with working 40 hours and going to classes and keeping up with getting ready for exams? Now you have a little bit of a breather now. So what are some other things you can look at? So one of these could be to learn a foreign language. There are free apps like Memrise and Duolingo. It's Memrise without the O. And you can use those to start working on a foreign language. Now, if you do want to put a foreign language on your resume, you want to be competent enough in it so that if you sat down at the first day of the job and you, for some reason, had to have a basic conversation with somebody in that language, you had that capability. That's kind of my general measure of should you put it on your resume or not. So if you feel like you've got enough of that foreign language under your belt, so maybe you're taking Spanish on campus, but it feels a little weak, well, you can check out YouTube, you can find virtual conversation partners, you can use Memrise and Duolingo. Rosetta Stone had a discount for a while on their services, so you may check that out as well. So getting it up to a competency where you feel like you're comfortable enough to put it on a resume. Learn a new software program or programming language. So a lot of the architecture and design students I talk to use a program called Revit. They use AutoCAD, but they don't always use enough AutoCAD in their classes to feel like they're really solid in it to put on a resume. Now's the time to go in there and learn that. Or check out YouTube, check in LinkedIn Learning for programming language instruction. There's a ton out there. Speaking of LinkedIn Learning, formerly known as lynda.com, if you're familiar with that, you do have access to all of their classes for free through your UARK email account. So if you log in or add your UARK email account to your LinkedIn profile, you can access the learning, and a lot of those will actually add certificates to your LinkedIn profile once you complete them. So they can be things about professional development, but they can also be specific to your field, so they can be technical areas. So that's a great one to check out. And also take a free online course. There's actually a ton of online courses that are being offered for free right now that are normally for pay. But a lot of educational institutions and organizations are recognizing that people need to keep building up their skill sets. So they've graciously offered up a lot of their content for free, and this includes some Ivy League courses. So check that out, learn about a new area, improve your skill set. Um, Even if you just want to learn more about current events, they have free classes on that. So check out that link. That will take you to kind of a consolidated list of different resources that are offering free online courses. Explore volunteer opportunities that take you outside your comfort but not safety zone. So if you, again, haven't had really the time before to volunteer for an organization, maybe you can do that now. And maybe that's something you can do virtually. They may not even have thought about these opportunities yet, but do they need help with social media? Do they need help organizing virtual volunteers? Do they need some logistics help if they're a pickup drop off service? How can they stay safe? So keeping your own safety front and center, looking at how you can help out organizations that are in need right now. Participate in competitions. Your field may have competitions available. I know a lot of business areas do this, a lot of design areas do this. Um, Check out, do some web searching, do some Googling, find out what are the competitions that you can get involved in, maybe involving teamwork. So you're building up your teamwork skills, your leadership skills, in addition to getting some more experience in your field. Or maybe start a completely new hobby or revive an old one. This is beneficial when it keeps your brain going over the summer, gives you something to work on, something to focus on, reduce anxiety. But also, besides improving your skills, you can connect with others who share your interests. So this is a great talking point if you're having an interview and somebody wants to learn more about what you're interested in, something to talk about, something you can talk about in depth, and you can make some connections. So it's another way of networking. Networking kind of comes in everywhere. All right. So I think I have lost my ability to move my slides ahead. Oh no, I still can. Better, Carolyn. Thank you. All right. So curate and improve your online presence. Spending a lot of time at the computer these days. Here's one more set of things to do online. Do your social media accounts present you as an aspiring professional? You may be on a number of different platforms. Some of them you may not have touched in a while. Google yourself, check out your content, see what's visible. All of them have features where you can look and see what somebody who's not friends with you or following you can see. Is that what you want them to see? And kind of think about it from the perspective of someone who's possibly older and more conservative than you. A lot of people who do the hiring at companies have been there for a while, so they're not necessarily fresh out of college grads or current college students. They may have a little bit different perspective, and just keep that in the back of your mind when you're checking out your own content. If you haven't looked at or haven't started your LinkedIn profile, now's a great time to do that. Take some time and fill out all the different areas of it. Include a professional photo in there. Excuse me. We find research finds that if there is a photo in a completed profile, you're much more likely to get action off of your profile that way. So make sure you have an image for yourself and then also for kind of a wallpaper, the banner area on there. Include a statement for yourself that is unique. So not just a student at the University of Arkansas, but talk about what you're interested in, what you're aspiring to do, what your interests are. Same with Handshake profile. If you're not familiar with Handshake, it is sort of a LinkedIn specifically for university students, and a ton of jobs get posted on there. So we have companies contacting us every day to post new jobs online. So you can one, search for jobs and internships on Handshake, and then two, complete your Handshake profile. Very much like LinkedIn, make sure you've got a photo, make sure you've got all the areas filled out. It's a really useful tool. And another option is start a Twitter or Instagram account specifically related to your career field and update it regularly. So I talk about this with my design students too. Follow the cutting edge news in your field, follow the big companies, follow the trends that are going on. Share tweets, share posts that are interesting, that are productive, and that add something to the dialogue within your profession. Check out time here. Okay. And finally, rethink the internship. So things have certainly changed. There's unfortunately not a lot of going to an office, seeing what office culture is like, meeting other interns at happy hour, getting to know people that way. But there are still things that we can be doing, still ways to get a lot of that internship experience in kind of a unique, special way. So one, be entrepreneurial. Freelance or pursue remote micro internships slash micro experiences on your own or through services like Cider or Fiverr. So this takes some initiative on yourself. Um, Definitely check out Exciter and Fiverr. Both of these are linked here. Those are basically sites where you create your profile and talk about your skills, your skill sets. Companies or individuals post jobs, things that they're looking for, and then you basically pitch yourself to them to complete that job and you get paid for it. So Cider is specifically a Northwest Arkansas one. So it's Northwest Arkansas businesses and individuals looking for some work. So for example, again, using design students, somebody maybe needs a rendering of a building front that they're doing. This isn't like a full architectural project that needs a licensed architect. They just need a little bit of Revit. So somebody, a student can go in, create their profile, say I'm skilled in Revit, pitch the design, and then Cider sort of acts as the middle company to make sure you get paid for your experiences. You get a little micro internship, a little project that you can add maybe to your portfolio or to your resume. So if an in-person internship has been canceled, definitely reach out to that company and see if there's an alternative that you can still gain some experience. It may not look at all like what they had planned on, but are there some projects you can work on? Get some experience what it's like to work from home. It is a different experience. So see if there's some things that you can do, even if it's not as many hours, as intensive as before. Definitely still keep the dialogue open with them. Reach out, and you can also consider reaching out to previous employers, so people that already know you and have experience of your work ethic, and talk about working remotely part-time or on a special project. Again, is there something that you need some help with? Kind
Is
of
now exiting.
situation and see if they can employ you temporarily, get a little more experience. Explore temp work opportunities and think broadly about this. Now, a lot of people will do working at like a restaurant in the summer to earn some money, and that may not be possible or safe where you're at this summer. So, what are some other things you can do for temp work? Are there virtual things you can do? Can you do some online marketing, social media account management? A lot of companies love having college students cover that for them. Are there areas that are even tangentially related to your area, your professional area, that you can help out with, that you can work in? For example, there are firms that specifically have single projects, temp work for architecture students, just doing quick design work. Reach out, see what kind of professional temp agencies there are for your area. And then finally, be creative and reach out to local businesses. Things are changing, things are constantly changing. We kind of got to a new normal and now it's changing again. Think about what kind of struggles they're going through, how you can help solve problems that they may have, and kind of pitch a job description, pitch a job title to them and say, hey, this may be an issue for right now. I have some ideas about how to fix that or how to work with those challenges, and maybe create a position for yourself. So that one takes a little bit more initiative. but it could be really rewarding and really unique thing to talk about later in an interview. So I am not able to see questions at this point, but we're just going to go through a couple more slides here and open it up to discussion. At any time this summer, you can still meet with any of your career counselors. Myself, Brittany, the other career counselors are available online and by the phone. This slide shows in person, so that's not actually accurate right now. We're not meeting students in person at the moment, but a virtual meeting is fantastic. We've had a lot of those, a lot of experience with that this spring. So if you want to do a resume review, an individual mock interview, cover letter, et cetera, know that you can still meet with us anytime this summer. And then make sure you stick around every other Tuesday this summer. We are going to be having more of these sessions. So these are the topics coming up for the future. And actually, I apologize, the July 14th one, I believe, has changed from impactful engineering resumes. Carolyn or Brittany, if you can remind me what that new one is.
It'll be cover letters.
Cover letters, thank you. This graphic is a day out of date. So there's a lot more great information coming out. You can jump in and listen to tips as well. All right, so let me turn it off of my screen. Okay, great. All right, so do we have any questions?
We don't have any in the chat box yet, but please go ahead and feel free to raise your hand or enter those in the chat box. While you all are doing that, another career tip is to join Career Track Razorbacks, and that will be opening at the first of the semester. You can just go to our website, that's career.uark.edu, and from there you can sign up, and that's at the beginning of every semester. We allow that. The recording and slides will be posted. It will take us a few days to get that out. If you would like a copy of that, I would say to enter your email address. Sorry.
Working from home is always a fun experience, you know, our furry coworkers. So are there any other questions while we're all gathered here together? All right. Well, as we mentioned before, this information will be posted, the slides and the recording for future use if you missed part of it. We need to go back to anything. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us for an individual appointment. We are here for you throughout the summer. Yes, we are going to have resume sessions. I'm going to look at the date on that again. Actually, Brittany, I think you're doing the resumes. July 28th, we will have a resume session.
Yes, I'm doing virtual resumes. And so in this session, we will be talking about the best way to format your resume when you're uploading it virtual to a virtual platform, or if you're applying to a company that has an automated tracking system.
Great. And we can always take a look at your resume via email and go back and forth on improving your resume, or even getting started if you're have no idea where to begin. And Carolyn or Brittany, do you know where the recording will be posted? Does that go on our webpage? I know this is new.
We will be sending that out via social media in a couple of days, and then we have a COVID website that you can access from our main page, career.uark.edu, and all of the sessions throughout the summer will be posted on that page as well.
Okay, great. And JM, you say you have a question? What can we help you out with?
So
Yes.
some of us, are waiting for our companies, who have delayed our job offers
Mm-hmm.
to be back in a position to hire us. Do you think we can tell them we can just go ahead and start working for them until they are here, or we just need to wait on them until they decide, or we can just say, I can come and work on some projects for free until you're ready?
It really, I feel like it really varies by company and by industry. Um, if they haven't talked to you about working remotely yet, I would recommend reaching out and suggesting that and saying you're absolutely willing to start, if they have training, onboarding work, if there's some way you can start working on that, just so they know you're still interested. Um, I'd love to hear the other career counselor suggestions on this. I probably wouldn't offer to start working for free, but if you can start with kind of the onboarding, getting ready, getting to know you, staying in touch with them, but not bombarding them with emails every day because they've got a lot of changing situations that they're probably dealing with too.
Okay.
Yes. Michelle, I completely agree with you. You might also reach out and ask them what are some of the things that they're struggling with the changing climate. And if it's something that you have an expertise in, you might offer to say, I'd be happy to start my internship early or to do this as a special project on the side for your company. So sometimes that can be something very simple as far as just starting an online store or working on their social media presence.
Excellent.
Thanks.
If I could add one thing really quick, this is Jessica, and I would just say that also, depending on if you're a domestic or an international student, I would double check with the IS. There are certain things you have to go through to be able to be paid for a job off campus. So just double check a student to make sure that you're always successful.
I think Jessica cut out a little bit there, at least on my end. So definitely check with International Student Services. Make sure all the paperwork, everything you're doing is working out.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Great.
Hi, Kayla. Thank you for coming and supporting us from the International Student Office. We're happy to have you on there, and we're glad that you help our off-campus students with OT and CPT. We also have a question about resume help, and could that be a one-on-one request? Yes, you can definitely request any of our services, our normal services. The only thing that is not possible at this time is a professional headshot. But LinkedIn profile reviews, resumes, cover letters, mock interviews, all of these things can be done virtually. Usually we use the Teams platform or sometimes through the phone.
Thanks. Any other questions?
Okay. Well, I'd say we definitely thank everyone for joining us today. Michelle, we thank you for that wonderful presentation.
Is now exiting.
The 20 tips in 20 minutes was great. I know there were some good refreshers in there for me. And we hope to get this recording out to you within the next week or so. So thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brittany.
Mhm.